Hey, everybody, this is Will Stuyvesant, National Director with CEO Energy, and I just wanted to tell you guys I am so excited about all of the great things that we have going with our company. We have been exploding like crazy. We have agents that are out there recruiting, getting sales, and getting paid the following month. Our relationship with Direct Energy has just been improving every single month because we keep on getting them sales. They keep giving us new product offerings and new ways to get paid. One of the things that we've been really excited about is the Nest thermostat that they've been giving away if you sign up with them. We've been finding a lot of success in Michigan and throughout the rest of the country. For those of you that are not aware, if you get a residential customer, let's say this month, you're getting paid as early as next month on that account. And, one of the greatest things I love about CEO is that we have absolutely no investment licenses or anything to get involved with our company. We literally are a risk-free company to get involved in. We have the opportunity to help people change their financial futures by making a nice side income or actually building a business, in their off hours. We have an unlimited comp plan, and we have a back office and training system that's, unbelievably awesome. We also, if you're brand new to the company, we recommend that you get your first 5 customers, one of which can be your own. But the following 4 are your best friends, family members, just so you can get some experience under your belt. And in the back office, right above our leaderboard, we have this blue button that says Basic Training. If you click on that, there's a 26-page PowerPoint presentation that you can go through. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast you read, to go through. So we recommend you do that. But one of the things that I wanted to cover today was, some of the what-ifs of CEO, and I think we take for granted really the opportunity that we have here. And what I mean by that is that we have an opportunity to make an income every time somebody turns on their lights or heat, and we also have the ability to build a national sales force that every time one of their customers turns on their lights and heat, we get paid too. And I mean, if you think about it, who do you know that doesn't have lights or heat at their house? Everybody you know and everybody you don't know has to pay a power bill, whether it's electricity, natural gas, and I guess in some cases you include fuel oil or propane, which we don't deal with. But everybody uses, natural gas and electricity. So, if I were looking at getting into CEO right now, I would figure out what would I need to do to get to the top and why. And for those of you that may have a job or have a corporate background or even a different type of corporate sales background, the greatest thing that we have about CEO is the fact that there is absolutely no cap on your income here, and there's no boss. If you meet the promotion guidelines, you can promote yourself within the company. No one's going to hold you back. So if you were to look at that, I ran some numbers last week. If you got to the senior consultant level, which I would recommend everybody get there. In fact, I would just say you're on the sidelines with CEO until you're at senior. But if you were to get at senior consultant and you had a group of agents of about 10, a group of 10 agents that did 5 Nest accounts a month, you're going to make about $400 a month with CEO. If you got to regional and you had a team of 25 agents that did 5 a month, you're going to make $2,000 a month. And if you're a national director with 50 agents, all getting 5 Nests a month, you're going to make about $6,000. But where it gets really interesting is what if you had 100 agents that got 5? If 50 that get 5 is $6,000 a month, and 100 that get 5, what is that? $12,000 a month? Well, all you got to do is you can get real crazy with the numbers. What if you had an agency of 1,000 agents getting 5 accounts? One of the things that, for those of you, I don't know if you really watch the news or not, but really this country's in some deep financial trouble as far as people that live in this country. We have a tremendous amount of debt. People are not saving enough for their retirement. Being able to save for kids' college education is not, such a distant thought that most people can't even comprehend paying it. That's why there's so many student loans out there. But just imagine, what if you were to get to that senior consultant level? What would an extra $400 a month, do for your budget? What if you were smart with it and you paid off debt, or you were able to get a 6-month emergency account? And then over time, as you consistently built your CEO business, you got to a regional level, At a regional level, that's where you start making comma checks. Now, I'm sure most of you guys get comma checks with your job, but what if you got a comma check with a little side business that you got as you went along? If you had a comma check, what would that do? What would an extra $2,000 a month do for your 401k or IRA? What would an extra $2,000 a month do to your mortgage? What would an extra $2,000 a month do for an emergency fund? What would an extra $2,000 a month? Maybe you can't afford to go on vacation. What if you could take that extra $2,000 and go on vacation? The real opportunity that we have in CEO is not necessarily being in the energy business, but offering somebody an opportunity to make an income by helping people reduce their energy costs. That's where the real opportunity is with CEO. And, you know, I heard a great analogy talking with our Director of Growth and Development, Matt Hirschenberger. I'm sure most of you would agree that if everybody started working out today and eating right today, at the end of the week, somebody might feel a little bit better, but there would not be noticeable results. But what would happen after week 2? A little bit more progress, but, you know, not really necessarily showing, you know, too much results. Maybe after a month you'd see some results. After 3 months you'd see some definite results. And after a year, where would you really be? CEO is not a company in which you can just do for a few days and think that you're going to find success. It's something that you do as you go, and it's something that you can consistently see grow over time as long as you're consistently putting in a little bit of small effort. And if you're brand new with CEO, what we recommend is that you develop a list of people that you know that you can contact to talk about what we do with CEO, whether it's helping them get a fixed program versus a variable program that they might be on, whether it's helping them get a Nest thermostat at no cost to them, or maybe to show them how they can make extra money with CEO. But we recommend, you know, if you, the day that you sign up your back office with CEO, you sign up your first account, immediately develop a list with the person that brought you into CEO. What is that list going to consist of, and why would you want it? This is a list of people that you're going to contact that you are very close with, not people that you don't know very well, but people you're close with, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your best friends, your neighbors, your fellow coaches of your kids' teams, people that you go out and do hobbies with and feel, you know, vacations with. These type of people that when you call them up, they'll want to help you. And the reason why you want to do that too is you want to get the word out of what you're doing. You don't want to be a secret agent with CEO. You want people to know that you're helping them reduce their electricity, their natural gas costs, that you can offer somebody that's really struggling financially an opportunity to make extra money that doesn't require them to submit a resume and clock in somewhere and clock out somewhere. One of the greatest things that I love about CEO is that it doesn't matter where you came from to come work with this company. We have people of all walks of life. You do not need a resume to come work with us. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have a master's. You don't have to have years and years and years of sales experience. Our system with CEO is so simple that really we can help anybody, you know, become a customer, and anybody that really wanted to take advantage of our opportunity could. So when you develop that list, you can't help but get customers and bring people onto your team. You know, with that list, after you make that list, it's important that you try to talk to 2 people every day about CEO. Now, that conversation does not need to be a half-hour dissertation about what CEO is. It literally could be you're driving on your way home from work, you're on the road to go to the grocery store to pick up for your family, you call a couple of your buddies up, family members, saying, "Hey, John, it's Will. Hey, the reason why I'm getting a hold of you, you can have your small chit-chat like you normally would, but the reason why I wanted to get a hold of you is I work with a company that finds out if people like you are getting overcharged on your energy bill. Why don't you give me a copy? I'll find out for you. All you need to do is take a picture of both sides and we're good to go." That's it. You don't have to explain how it works. You've got to become a master recruiter and bill collector at some point in your career with CEO. You don't have to be a master right in the beginning. Our comp plan is designed for you to make money as you learn and grow in this business. And one of the greatest things I love about this is as long as you stay plugged in to your leaders, in the company, as long as you stay on these training calls that Nathan and I do, every Monday and Tuesday night, you guys have an opportunity to grow not only your income but yourselves. And, this isn't going to happen overnight, and it's not mission impossible grabbing a few people on your team. One of the things I would attribute some of my success to is I've been pretty consistent at doing a lot of little things every single day. For example, I pretty much read some type of self-development, leadership, autobiography, improvement book. For those of you that don't like to read, I'd recommend that you just start with 10 pages a day. After a week, you might not see moderate improvement in your thinking, but if you were to get 10 pages a day over a course of a year, that's 3,650 pages, and I think most of you would agree with me that your mind would change. In addition to that, I've spent a lot of time spending time with people that were either at the same level I was personally, spiritually, business-wise, or family-wise, or better. I don't spend a lot of time with people that are a deficit to me in those three areas, and I'm not trying to sound negative or whatever. And that might even include family members. Sometimes family members are tough to be around. But, man, if you want to grow yourself and do something really big with your life, something special with your life, you got to do little things like this. Wouldn't it be awesome? I don't know what you guys are involved in, but I'm very involved in my community, and I love being the go-to person where when they need help, they can count on me to help volunteer. They can count on me to help financially contribute. Wouldn't it be awesome that what if there was, unfortunately, some type of financial calamity in your family, and you could be the one that your family goes to, that you could go help in a meaningful way your family out, or maybe your friends? What if you were to be able to give a lot more to charities? What if you were able to, maybe you like the house that you're living in right now, but at some point you'd like something a little bit better. Maybe you're driving a Chevy and you want to drive a Buick, or maybe you're driving a Buick and you want to drive a Cadillac. CEO can deliver that, and all you need to do is a lot of small incremental growth. Another thing that you can do is I literally turn my car into a library. I listen to a lot of self-development CDs, things that work in my mind. I very rarely listen to the radio. All these little things help me with my mindset, my day-to-day, to keep me motivated to go out there and get after it. You guys can build this in such a way and earn an income much faster than what Nathan and I have earned in our first 5 years in CEO. Wouldn't it be great? Yesterday I had a day, one of my agents renewed an account. I made an additional $600 in overrides in one day. Last week I made an additional $1,000 a year in one day in overrides. You guys have the opportunity to do that much faster than Nathan and I ever had. And the true sense of what a great opportunity is an opportunity where you can offer somebody brand new something better than what you had in the beginning. And I can tell you right now that CEO seems to be getting better and better and better and better every single day. People are out there getting customers. They're getting paid in a month or two. They're building teams that are getting customers, and it all just starts out with that simple list, 25 to 30 people, and making some phone calls, on a consistent basis, every day, talking to two people every day, talking to them about the opportunity they have with this company or the opportunity to save money, whether it's through our fixed programs or with our Nest. So with that being said, I've talked for about 15 minutes. I'm going to open up the lines to see if you guys have any questions or comments, or, maybe you're brand new and you're just trying to figure this out and you don't know what to do or how to start. But I'm going to open it up and see what you guys have to say. All right, guys, I opened up the lines.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I do have a question. So
Sure.
I don't want to say the hard sell, but a sell that is going to be somewhat difficult to overcome is this issue of I gave. Let me start again. I gave someone a bill for gas, and the bill was for like 26 cents per therm in the winter and 25 cents per therm in the summer, low low usage. And yet, the quote that came back was 35 cents a therm. But it's guaranteed over, 2-year or 12-month period of time. And so the question is, well, you're getting a Nest thermostat to boot. That's sort of a hard thing to justify 10 cents a therm and $250.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not hard to justify at all. You're talking about one line item on the bill. We're talking about lowering their entire bill.
Okay.
We in Michigan right now, there is not a more competitive public utility in any state that I know of that we operate in than Consumers Energy in Michigan, and we are just absolutely getting customers like you wouldn't believe with the Nest, with a rate right now that is $2.50 higher than their monthly variable rate, and we're selling it all day long. And the reason why is because Consumers has been in between $2.50 and $6 the past 3 years. So if we get them a fixed rate in the 5s, which is going to drop their gas and their electricity overall, I don't really care at all what one line item out of 8 really, being higher. So,
all right, well,
and the ranges in Illinois right now, from what I remember of seeing, I don't have my spreadsheet, you guys have had the same ranges. It's been under $2 the past year, but it's been as high as 6 or 7 in the previous 3 years. It's not necessarily always, I would prefer to have a fixed program all the time over any type of variable. And most of the country feels that way because if you were to look at all of the mortgages out there, most people would have saved more money with an adjustable rate mortgage than being in a fixed. But how many people do you think have one?
I'll have to look at that again because I'm still not clear on that, and I think it's just a matter of studying the program. So
well, the Nest saves. I'll give you an example. In Michigan, the Nest overall, I go by averages. You can't go by month-to-month rate because the public utilities are on a variable and we're in a fixed. That's an apples to apples. I could refinance your house right now at 2.5% on a 5-year ARM. Would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would.
You would, over having maybe a 3.5% fixed?
Oh, I don't know about that. You're right.
Okay. Well, it's the same argument. No difference.
Okay.
Natural gas prices just went up 40% in a month. Went from $1.98 to it was $2.75 when I checked yesterday. I wouldn't want to be in a variable.
I guess what's confusing me is the fact that you're talking about dollars and I'm talking about cents per therm, and I can't.
Yeah,
we don't get around that.
Yeah, nobody really in my sales organization in Michigan, we focused on what the bottom line dollar amount is. We don't focus on rate.
Okay.
They're in a variable program. We can get it in a fixed. They're going to save anywhere from $125 to $180 a year over what they've been paying the past few years.
I got it.
Yeah, and by the way, Consumers Energy on their bills, they'll let you know what your rate is with your supplier and what their rate is. And they also send you a postcard saying that if you want to switch back to them, you can. And we haven't had anybody leaving Direct Energy with their Nest thermostat saying, well, your rate was higher, so I went back. Haven't had that happen yet. In fact, all of my customers that have received a Nest have been very thankful that they got one and didn't have to spend $250 for it.
Got it.
They're ecstatic about it. They're telling me options and things about it that I didn't even know existed. It's been really cool. It's been pretty exciting. So, is there any other questions? Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And if you need those ranges, I can get it I've got all those averages and stuff. I can get that. I think I've got it back to 2004 or 6 or 7 or something like that. I can get that to Nate. I've got all the electricity rates and gas rates for every public utility in Illinois.
I think I have that already, and I will re-examine that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, Will.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how you doing? Say, I've been listening to your call, great call, and I've been listening to the last question. I think it's a pretty good question because it's hard to imagine. And I know you've done a lot of work on this, and it's hard to imagine, say, a rate higher, because if we're just thinking about what we're doing, it's hard to imagine, at least even for anyone, to say, okay, you're paying higher on this rate, but yet your overall expense is going to be lower. I think it would help a little bit if you can kind of talk about it a little bit. I know, like on the natural gas portion, I've heard you talk about the fact that so you're paying a higher rate, but you're going to use less. So there's just off of that alone, there is a certain percentage that someone could take into effect as far as the overall cost. And the other thing, go ahead.
Well, I can answer that right now because I've got those numbers in my head. I can just tell you. I mean,
okay.
if you were to look at it, and every public utility is going to be a little different, but not by much. If you were to look at all of the fees, because it's not just the supply cost of the electricity or gas, there's all the distribution fees and everything else that now your usage is going to be down, which means you're not going to pay as much. So, for example, in Consumers Energy territory, there's 5 line items for electricity, one of which is the cost of the electricity. On the natural gas, there's 3 line items, one of which is the cost of the natural gas. So the electricity savings alone is about $150 a year. The savings on the 2 natural gas fees is about $30 a year. And then it's whatever the spreads are in the negative, right now, rate to rate on the average versus the fixed rate. So like the 2-year rolling average with consumers, even though they're at $2.80 right now, has been about $4.02. And our fixed rate's at $5.19. Well, you're not really paying $5.19 because your heating cost has been reduced by about 10%. I use about a 10% reduction overall for the year of natural gas. So if you were using 1,000 therms, you take 100 off of it, now you're using 90. So if you were to take 10% off the $5.19 rate, you're looking at, paying a rate of $4.70, for example, compared to $4.02. It's not really $5.19. Does that are you guys with me on that?
Yeah. No, I completely understand it. And then obviously on the electricity, especially for those who are in Michigan, they haven't had a lot of chance to impact the electricity use, which is in the summertime for cooling. There's a lot of line items, but I can see where there can be a confusion as to, wait a minute, how can this one rate be higher, but yet their total bill be lower by offering the Nest thermostat? And plus, I guess what would Consumers Power, I know that's a territory you operate in, what would their gas rate have to be to not make it worth it? I guess say we're at that the $5.19. We're talking about that one rate, the gas recovery. So the Nest rate in Consumers Power is $5.19. What would Consumers Power have to charge approximately for it not to be worth it for them to do the Nest thermostat? Do you have any idea? I just mean to put you on the spot.
It would have to be lower than $1.58, and here's where I came up with that number. At $1.58, which Consumers has never been in the past 16 years. In fact, I don't think natural gas wholesale prices have been lower than $1.58 other than a day, maybe one day, all the way back to 1997. It would have to be lower than $1.58. At $1.58, assuming it was fixed over 2 years, it would cost the customer $125 a year, which would be the cost of the thermostat.
Okay.
$1.58.
And that's an extreme difference. I mean, you're talking $5.19 to $1.58.
Yeah.
And so they basically would finance the thermostat. alone would basically pay for it, I guess.
You know what the funny thing is, Matt? I don't really have, and we don't either really with our team. We don't really have rate discussions with our customers, and they don't ask. And I think it's because our approach is we're going to look at your overall situation versus the rate. And I can tell you in my going on 6 years in this business that if I ever lost a customer and anybody on my team has ever lost a customer, it was because of a rate.
Right.
Because I focused on it in the beginning, so it became important to the customer. That's all they thought about. They constantly watched it. And if it wasn't showing in our favor, for a month or two, they called us concerned. But when I've noticed and I'm talking brand new people and CEO, brand new people coming in, saying, hey, I'm going to check to see if you're overcharged. You're on a variable program. Bad news is you're on a variable program. Good news is I can get you in on a fixed. They're okay with that. And our fixed rates, if we really need to get in a fixed rate discussion, our fixed rates are right in line or lower than where pretty much all of the public utilities have been the past few years.
Right.
Well,
you know what I think the healthy value of you taking a little time to go through this is what happens is it's a person's belief level, because I think a person needs to feel that they're bringing value to their customers, whether it's their friends or family on that list. And when they understand, without a doubt, and I think you've kind of explained it, that's a big difference, $5.19 to $1.58, and you're talking about the overall savings. When they understand that they are actually withholding value from people by not offering them that potential, then I think the ability to make a phone call off that list will go higher. And so everyone's got to go through that at any kind of a given rate. And I know you've had to go through it, and that's why you're so, you're the perfect person to talk about it, because in order for you to move forward, you had to have a conviction of value. And I think that was a great question, and I think it was a great answer. I just felt like it was good for you to be able to kind of dive a little deeper into it, so folks can really understand that what we do have is a value, because at the end of that Nest thermostat, once they have that, can you imagine going back to them with even a lower fixed rate that they can offer? So it's a pretty neat deal.
Well, the great reality of it is this, that all those independent studies we initially checked into, and just quite frankly client reviews, all of them have been like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So the bottom line is people are going to have one of these smart thermostats, whether it's a Nest or something else. They're either going to buy it or we're going to give it to them. And I quite frankly think that we're better off giving it to them than them going out and shelling out the $250. I've had some people say to me, well, what if I just go out and buy it? I said, you know what? I can guarantee you something if you do that. What's that? Well, you're out $250. I can guarantee you're out $250 if you do that. But if you get it with me at no cost, odds are in your favor based on where the history of prices have been, that you're going to save money with me and get the dang thing at no cost to you. So I rather have the best of both worlds, frankly, but that's just me. And I'm just finding, and people on our team have been finding that, they want the best of both worlds too. So I understand, where somebody might feel that way. It's kind of like the stock market. No one's going to invest in the stock market and real estate market based on 1 month's performance. They might not even invest in the stock market or real estate based on 1 year performance. They're going to want to see track records of a 5 or 10, 15, 20-year period of time before they feel comfortable doing anything. And I don't think it's really any different with what we're doing with electricity or natural gas, because natural gas is a commodity that all of us use whether we like it or not. We're either buying it, to heat our homes, or they're using it to generate the power that we're buying. We're using natural gas one way or the other, and it's traded up and down every day just like the stock market. and it's on its way back up, and it has been for the past month and a half.
I have one more question. Well,
sure.
So if my daughter has a forced air water heater. It's a 100-year-old farmhouse in Brookfield, Illinois, and really old. There's no central air. And with the Nest thermostat, it would help with the heating situation, but not necessarily the air conditioning system. Is that a fair assessment or fair statement?
That's possible. I mean, that's something you would have to look up, on Nest website or whatever. I mean, I do want to be clear that we in Michigan and on my agents I have on the East Coast, we're not necessarily thermostat salespeople. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous about the Nest, but the way that I explain it is the thing is the thermostat is smarter than me, and if you just plug it in the wall, I just know based on independent studies that it's going to save you money.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't need to know any further than that. I mean, I've gotten information overload, frankly, about the Nest, and not one piece of information has been negative, other than if you buy it on your own, it's $250. Not one negative thing about the Nest. So that helped me with my confidence level, and I did a lot of research initially to see if it was worth offering, to our customers throughout the country. And I mean, I kept on getting review after review after review that it was positive, and after jumping in with both my feet, I was one of the first selling the Nest in the company, and the overwhelming response from the customers that have received them so far has been extremely positive. And not one of them, and keep in mind, like I said, on their consumer's bill, it says, you are currently with an alternate gas supplier paying $5.19. Our current rate is at $2.80. Please feel free to give us a call if you'd like to talk about natural gas rate. That's on every single one of the bills with somebody that's a natural gas supplier. And like I said, people have been just extremely happy with that Nest because they know their overall bill is going to go down, and they know that they're in a fixed program versus a variable that they would have had no choice but to have with a public utility. So I hope that answered your question, if that's possible. I mean, there's some stuff you can check on YouTube and independent research. I don't have all of that. And I do know that you do have to kind of check on the systems. In most cases, and Direct Energy had told us that they had not run into any cases where the Nest didn't work out if they got it. So.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Hey, Will, it's Nathan here.
Hey, Nate.
Question for you. In some of my conversations with some of our new agents and those sorts of things, a recurring theme for a brand new agent is every now and again they'll say, "Hey, Nate, I just feel like I need to perform training and be successful." What's your reaction to that? What do you recommend? I mean, do people need more training? Do they need to just go out and build?
Well, if somebody's brand new, there's two things they need to. I mean, if I had that initial visit, they've signed up their back office, they've signed up their own home, they've got their list, they need to call people, and they don't need to have to say anything other than, have you checked to see if you've been overcharged on your energy bill? I mean, there's nothing else they need to say by that. Well, no, I haven't. Well, great. Take a picture of both sides of your bill and send it to me, and I'll let you know. That's it. There's no complicated whatever. Do that first. Then they get those bills. They call me up and say, "Hey, Will, I got some bills. Now what?" Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to look over those bills as a field trainer with them, see what we can do if it makes sense. In most cases it does. this is what you're going to say on the callback. Hey, John, it's Will. Hey, got some bad news. You're on a variable program. Good news is I'm going to get you in a fixed program on your natural gas. Now, I'm going to let you know this fixed program is a little higher than the current variable, and the reason why is I'm going to get you a $250 Nest thermostat to you at no cost to you, which is going to reduce your overall entire bill, not just this one line item. You know, you're going to be getting your natural gas from somebody else, but you're still going to, everything's going to be on the consumer's bill. And if the power goes out, consumers is still responsible for taking care of your power. All I need you to do is say yes, and I can hook you up. Now, they might say, well, is that thermostat hard to? Nope, it's not. You can install it in 10 minutes. Well, how does the thermostat work? To be honest with you, John, all I know is this: it's smarter than me. If you plug it in your wall, independent studies have shown that it's going to save you money. I don't get into percentages. I just say that that's what it is. And that's pretty much it. Keep in mind, the people that I call, or that the people that my new agents are calling, they're not calling acquaintances. They're not calling, people they just bumped into. They're calling their friends and family members, people that they're inviting over for birthday parties, people that, that they see on a regular basis and talk to on a regular basis. That top 25 list is not people of, some person you met a month or two ago. These are literally your family and friends offering them a great opportunity to save money with CEO or to potentially make money with us too.
Well, I think that's a great response. One of the other, phrases that I think is just probably the number one phrase that anyone new to consumer energy options or really any business, customer service, business, sales, business, or otherwise, is when someone asks you a question, when you do not know the answer. I think that the absolute best thing to say to them is, hey, Will, excellent question. It's escaping me right now. I don't know that right off the top of my head. Give me 24 hours, and I'll find the answer to that question, and I'll get right back to you. Because let's face it, whether it's CEO or lots of other things in life, acknowledging that someone had a great question, and then being honest with them that you don't have to answer that question, and then also getting back to them in a timely manner, you can really overcome almost any objection. You can answer any question, and you can provide value to any customer just by doing that. Obviously, the best thing to do is to get plugged into these calls, memorize some of the scripts that you're talking about, and just the general way of presenting it is the best option. But the second best option is just, hey, get out there, take action, and tell people if they don't know the answer, that you will find it out and get right back to them. So that being said, I really think that a lot of the new agents plugging in, getting active, the best thing that they can do is take your approach and just become a bill collector. And quite frankly, sometimes they're with an alternate supplier, sometimes they're with the utility, and we don't really know what kind of additional value we can provide them until we get our hands on the bills anyways. So those are just a couple thoughts that I had.
No, I completely agree. And that's why I said that in the beginning, if somebody's brand new, all they have to do is ask one simple question: have you checked to see if you're overcharged? No, great, give me a copy of your bill. What's this about? Well, I won't know until I get a copy of it. Are you with one of those companies? I don't know. You don't know anything until you get a copy of the bill, period. None of us do. They could be with another supplier under contract, like you just said. We don't know their situation until we get a copy of the bill. So try to explain the Nest or fixed or this or any of that until after you get a copy of the bill is not even worth it. If somebody's interested in getting paid with CEO, if somebody is interested in getting a check from CEO, all I would be focused on as a field trainer and a new person is getting that list of 25 to 30 people done and calling everybody on that list as fast as possible. Now, some of you might be fearful or concerned, well, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. You know what? Join the club. I don't like making phone calls to people either. I didn't in the beginning. I mean, but the only way I overcame it is by asking for tons and tons of bills and helping tons and tons of customers to sign up. Same thing with new agents. Meeting and sitting in front of a bunch of people, talking to a lot of people, finding out what their objections and concerns were, and then seeing if they were still a fit with CEO. But frankly, I mean, as far as a new agent getting involved, what do we have to lose here? They sign up for free, no cost to them. They sign up their own bill on a fixed program, and on top of that, they might get a free Nest thermostat. And after all of that's done, they get a $10 or $15 check. I don't think that's failure. I think that's a win. Overall win-win for everybody involved. What if they wanted to go a little further and they got 5 accounts? Even better. What if they took it further and got 10? Even better. What if they got on a few agents that got 1, 5, or 10? I mean, what would that do for you if you're a senior regional or national? Keeping it simple is the best possible thing that you can do with CEO. There are so many things that if you let your mind run off, that can create a fear to put you in a paralyzing situation where you are uncomfortable calling people, you're uncomfortable asking for bills, and essentially if you don't do those things, unfortunately, checks never follow because you never gather customers. So real simple. What's that?
Oh, no, go ahead.
So real simple. Get a list. Have a couple phone conversations a day. Real simple, just 2. This isn't Mission Impossible. 2 people every day off that list. Ask them for their bills and see what you can do. So what was that, Malcolm?
Oh, no, I've been listening in some good stuff here. For me, when I started, my biggest thing was, am I doing the right thing? And, I needed to have conviction no matter what you said, Matt said, Nate said. Doesn't really matter anything you guys said. Experience is the mother of learning. And until I dug into it, got some experience, did some research myself, that's when you have the conviction yourself that, man, I am doing the right thing. Because you could tell me that it is right, it is correct, this happens, that happens. Yes, I know you're telling me, but is the conviction there in my heart? And until that experience comes into play, and you could delve into a little bit of research yourself, that's when you'll understand what you're saying in your heart and what Nate's saying and what Matt's saying. So, experience, get those bills like you're telling everyone to do. Until that happens in your heart, you still have that question, am I doing the right thing, and are they telling me the truth? And you won't know that until you get the bills. So the quickest way to get that conviction is get a bill. Go through some of the things, and then you'll get it in your heart, and that's when things do change.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Malcolm.
Because you could say everything that, I could tell you there's a pot of gold if you dig 10 feet out, and most people say, yeah, right, and they'll walk away. Until you start digging, get that experience, you won't find that gold. I mean, that's the easiest way I could put it. That's all I got.
Thanks, Malcolm. I appreciate it. Any other questions or concerns?
Hey, well, Nathan here. One other thing that I was just going to mention, kind of go along the idea of, the first person you have to convince you is yourself, and, not until you convince yourself, believe in yourself, believe in your product, go on to be successful. I think a lot of it comes down to having stories. And when I say stories, I'm talking about, it could be your own personal experiences that, by signing up your own home, signing up your own business, you can then share and relate that story with others and communicate, the positive experience that you had. Getting that story immediately that way is great. Using other people's success stories is also a great way of communicating the value. But I think also one of the best things that, that anyone could do for themselves is just take a couple of seconds and write down, 3 to 5 success stories or 3 to 5 instances where they were approached by a customer. I'll just use some Illinois examples just to get my point across. A lot of people say, oh, man, it's so difficult in Illinois because everyone is already with an alternate supplier because of municipal aggregation. And one story I tell a lot of time is that, you know what, Mr. Customer, you're absolutely right. There are a lot of people who are already with alternate suppliers via municipal aggregation. That's the bad news. The good news is that at least 80% of the time, I can still find a supplier that is even cheaper than what they are already paying. And then in addition to that, anyone with an alternate electric supplier in Illinois via municipal aggregation, they don't have any early cancellation fees. So they switch to my supplier that has a cheaper rate at any time without penalty and save money. That would be one example of a story. Another example would be, maybe it's a small business owner, and that business owner says, oh, we've already looked into this a couple of years ago. We're set. We signed up with a supplier, and we're good. I always come back with a success story of, hey, you know what? I've been told that a couple of times this week. What a lot of people don't know is that within the past couple of years, gas and electricity rates have actually come down. And just the other day, I helped a business owner just like you save $600 over the course of the year because the contract that they thought they had is now ended, and since the energy prices have come down, we got them on a cheaper rate. And so, get convicted, get convinced, sign up yourself, get those success stories. Don't be afraid to knock on some doors, turn over some rocks, start with your friends, family, and acquaintances. And if you're able to write down your 3 to 5 stories that you can share with people as you go out there, I think that you're going to find a lot more success much more quickly.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Stories definitely help. They've helped me also. Sometimes when it came to commercial customers or whatever, every once in a while, name dropping, somebody of a like-minded business up the road helped get clients. So no, I agree. Was there? I did want to make one last announcement. Nathan and I discussed this yesterday, but we are looking to bring down the corporate calls on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Time to the first Tuesday of every month. And we have our team conference calls, training calls, Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is Nathan. Tuesday night at 9 o'clock is mine. Everybody within the company is welcome to be on either one or both if you'd like. And we're just looking at doing that. That way we can keep things fresh as far as the announcements are concerned corporately on those first Tuesdays. And then we also are moving in the direction with, with our teams and our different regions or whatever. So I just wanted to make that announcement. I'm sure, Nate, you brought that up last night on your discussion call.
Yep, I absolutely did. And, some of the other reasons why we're doing this is obviously to keep things fresh. We want to keep the corporate calls at least once a month so that we can, have some in-depth training, have some announcements, and have it be very focused so that those individuals who are joining us or listening to the reporting can, get, one power-packed conference call once a month that focuses on some of the higher level stuff. But, we really want to continue to grow our weekly team conference calls because in those team conference calls is when we're really able to dive in and focus on the utility-specific or regionally specific topics that is going to help our direct team continue to grow and prosper. It's a little bit more informal. It's the team calls on Monday and Tuesday night are the perfect time to, bring a friend along to listen in, someone who has a lot of questions, want to get to know what we're up to. And so in doing that, I think we're going to find a really nice balance between, having the corporate calls once a month so that we can have a shared sense of focus, vision, see what's going on nationwide, share updates, but then also have the team calls on a regular basis to kind of get down to the nitty-gritty that's going to help people transact and grow their teams and bring on additional agents that way. So just my 2 cents, Will.
Thanks, Nate. Well, hey, guys, unless there's any other questions or concerns, last-minute stuff, we're going to end the phone call. What an action-packed hour. Normally we keep these to a half hour, but we had so many great questions and comments. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you for the questions, about the rate disparity and how the nest might work. I mean, those are going to help all of us in CEO grow and think and increase our belief as far as what we're doing here. And I mean, really, like Nate said, the best way to learn, the best way to get conviction is to take action. And what does that mean? Getting a list and actually calling those people on that list, keeping it very simple. Hey, have you checked to see if you're overcharged? No, great. Get me a copy of your bill. Call them back. Get them on a fixed program versus variable and get them a nest, or get them on a fixed program. Either way, we're helping people out. So with that being said, see you guys at the top because the bottom's always full. Have a good one.